stuck. Very much stuck. I'm not stuck with you at all. No. I'm stuck with a child fighting to shut up. Have a good time. Come on.
Where your shot at?
I already took it. Another round?
Another round of what?
A shot.
Hey everybody, and welcome to my channel. So my name is Ariana, and I wanted to do this video because I just kind of wanted to start my YouTube off with really just kind of talking about my opinion about the whole Blueface and Chrisean situation. I never really, I really just never really felt comfortable feeding into other people's business like that. For the most part, I seen what would happen. I might have a slight opinion here and there, but I just go back to minding my business because I don't know, something about being all the way involved into people's life. I do think that with this situation, there is a lesson. It's not just about being messy and just trying to insert my opinion where it don't belong. It's really instead something that I kind of actually relate to, and I just wanted to talk about how I feel. So go ahead and just keep on watching. Starting off, I just wanted to say that in recent events, it has been made public information. Chrisean, she went live recently where she was birthing her baby. It struck up a lot of conversation because it was made aware to the public eye that Blueface actually was not there. He didn't show up for the birth. Actually, I think I saw somewhere that he was if I'm not mistaken, no, this might have been a different time. I was gonna say he was partying or something like that because one of the girls who came to the place was a fan of Chrisean, and she was like, I'm a fan of her, I'm a fan of her. And he was like, that's what's up. But the girl was trying to check him, I don't like how you been doing her. But I'm not sure if that was actually during the birth or if that was I'm not sure if that was a different time. But either way go, it has been made public that he did not show up. Actually, y'all, I don't even think he was invited because she wanted her support system there. And I seen this TikTok, and if I can find it, I will insert it or at least leave the link down below or in the description bar. She was just holding her baby, and she was just looking oh my God,
It's crazy because I'm looking at my legacy.
Yes, it's your legacy.
You ready to turn up, yo?
Hey.
You ready to get to it?
You better get to it.
Yo, he's looking at me
oh,
I wish I could show you his face. I would. I am.
Eventually.
Yeah,
the moment that we all have our first baby. I just had that moment. And that's actually part of why I wanted to do this video too, because I just had that moment. And
oh my God, yo. Hey.
I just wanted to express how I recognize, I know that feeling. And I really wanted to do this video to say that throughout the whole entire situation, the world has seen Blueface and Chrisean from beefing and fighting, going through things.
You fake friend, what am I talking about? And you getting me lit for what?
Because we need to take a shot. This is good stuff.
You.
This is good
I
for
want
show.
you.
Take a shot. Take the shot.
Chrisean, you rock. You started this. You want to go against me on everything? I'm going to go. Can I ask you a question?
Come on, why are you grabbing on me?
Because
I'm at my event. Why are you making it about you? If I'm at my event, why? Oh, the conversation is over. I gotta weigh in because I have business. Can we talk later?
Can you hug me? Can you stop?
Can you stop?
I am.
All right, chill.
Go. He gotta weigh in.
All right.
Don't make it about you right now.
I'm not.
If you want to stay on the bus, stay on the bus.
Nobody's standing on the bus.
Go. Stop talking to me.
Sean.
Things with his other baby mama, and then they had a show that they started to star in together, and then we as a public found out that she was pregnant, and now we've as a public seen her having her baby. And so one thing I did see that was like really different from the usual things that she say is that she was basically kind of going on about how, you know, she have to realize that a man who loves her like that would not allow her to be messed up drunk. Like, if y'all, I'm pretty sure that y'all did see the clips, but if y'all didn't see the clip,
It got to the point when I was drinking it was not fun. I was drinking because I had to drink. I really had to drink to be around him, to work around him, to...
Let's take the shot. Probably stressed him out. Here.
Oh.
Take a shot. Here.
I don't want this. This is special tonight, baby.
Take it, man. Come on.
Where your shot at?
I already took it.
Chrisean was actually like passed out in different locations. He would record her body, you know, very, very drunk, very, you know, not herself, like. And so she addressed that, and she was basically like that nobody who loves her would put her through those situations, would let her drink to, you know, she gets to that point, would record it, would put this stuff on social media. And one thing somebody said in the comment section when they seen that video, they was like, well, honestly, that she sound like she's getting a lot better. She sound like she coming to her senses and really understanding, but it also take a little bit of accountability too in that part that she hasn't gotten to yet. So I can say that with my own personal experience, I had to think about personal accountability when you allow somebody to put you in a position where they can take advantage of your boundaries because of your love for them. And so it gets to the point where, you know, you actually are compromising on your morals and standards because of X reason, Y reason, whatever. And you know, that part was relatable because sometimes we love so hard that we kind of like lose ourselves in the process, and we lose the parts of ourselves that we lose is like our boundaries. We lose our, you know, ability to think clearly and see things as clearly as we do when we're unattached to a person. And actually, you know, it really helped me because after that experience, it helped me to not get to the point where I'm so attached to a person that like I can't cut them off, or I can't, like, I can really, really like you, but the moment you do something that I don't like, that I don't stand for, I can easily cut people out now because I realize how that stuff festers. It's not just a small thing here and there, it's them, and it comes with, most likely, my opinion, it comes with a whole lot more attached to that. It's not just what they did to you in the first place, it's actually this behavior that's being, it's kind of like, you know, being hidden inside of them. And that's also another reason, as a side note, why you don't answer that question when a man says, so like, what are you looking for? You don't answer that. You don't say, oh, I'm looking for, and like, what's the direction to your heart? What exactly do I need to do to make you fall for me? So then I can be the real me, and you already fell for me because I did this and I did that and I was so consistent. But in reality, no. When a guy asks that question, just be like, I just love a forthcoming man. I heard somebody say that, oh, I just love a man who is a man of his word. What he say he will do, he does, and things like that. Just kind of be really vague. Focus on telling them, yeah, who you want, how do you want them to be, how do you want them to think, like a man who can reflect on himself, you know, whatever. But obviously just a man trying to be the best version of himself and be consistent and be a man of his word and things like that. And be vague on purpose, because a lot of the time what you don't realize is that guys are really just trying to like understand how to fake their way into your soft spot so that they can be the real them. Isn't that sick, by the way? One thing I learned is not to tell somebody who you feel like should have higher self-esteem. Don't get stuck on that hill where you're trying to like make them feel like they matter and that they should have higher self-esteem, because when it gets to that point in a relationship dynamic, when it gets to that point, sometimes people try to bring you down because they feel like you're out of their league. They don't try to reach your league. They try to pull you down and pull you down until you are at their league. So don't get got. But I said that to say that once you reflect back, you'll realize that a lot of the time we just kind of allow ourselves to get lost in the situation, and we don't think about the responsibility of ourselves personally. It is definitely noteworthy to recognize that somebody else took advantage of you in this way, and they, you know, didn't love you properly, although you was loving them very authentically. That's sad, and it's hard to come into terms with that. But another part of that process is realizing where you let yourself go, realizing where you didn't set boundaries, and making sure that you recognize those patterns so that you can know when and how to set the right boundaries. What is your weak spot so that you can strengthen that within yourself, or be like, hey, this is me being extra, like being my normal self, but this person doesn't deserve that. Let me act accordingly. Situation that's meant to make sure that you reflect on every part of how you got here, and that's very important. So I do agree with the people in the comment section that said that if she really was where she needs to be, she would think about her own actions as well. But I think it's a journey, and hopefully with time she does think that. But regardless of her in particular, I do want to make this about the collective of women who might be in a situation where their boundaries are being overstepped, whether that be with a family member, a friend, or, you know, a coworker, strangers. Because usually when you have like a lack of setting boundary tendency, issue is like, it's showcased in every aspect of life, in all relationships, not just romantic relationships. Why I wanted to do this video. I'm not really hyper interested in saying, oh, this is how I feel about her. You know, I want to make sure that we recognize that anybody could be Chrisean, whether we are a watered down version of that situation. I don't even think I want to just call it the Chrisean situation. I really want to focus on women who are in a situation with a man who they love so much that they are allowing themselves to be lost in the process, because that is something that I had experience with when I was really young, and I had to reflect back on myself. The other part of what I wanted to say is this good news, and that is that, you know, I recently had my baby. He is gonna be one very soon, in a couple months, and you know, having him and being in a situation where I was in experience, you know, it wasn't what I wanted out of a relationship, and life happens to all of us. But one thing I do want to say is that when I had my baby boy, just like Chrisean, she had her baby boy, and when I had him, it completely changed my life. It really changed me. It changed how I set boundaries. Like, you know how when you're getting ready to set a boundary and you second guess yourself, or you might feel guilt or whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that equates to you doubting yourself in setting this boundary. You doubting if you really should be doing this, if you should feel guilty about it, if this person has done, you know, these things for you, should you be doing this, putting them through this? Like, you have all these thoughts in your head, but the truth of the matter is your boundary, you don't need permission for that. And I actually have a book about boundaries that I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna real quick, y'all. All right, y'all, so I got my book right here. Set Boundaries and Find Peace. When I was reading this, it started to change my life. I was already, you know, starting to do the work. You know how you feel like life is weighing you down? You feel like it's really heavy. You don't understand how to like clear up the predicament that you're in. A lot of time we feel that way. Like when we get depressed and stuff like that, a lot of time we feel that way because we are dealing with somebody overstepping our boundaries. And so that's why, you know, we start to feel so depressed like that, because we are, you know, in a situation where we're letting things slide because we haven't found out how to properly say, this makes me uncomfortable. I don't like this. I don't like having to carry the weight, maybe like doing all the housework, or I need you to step up and help me at least maintain the house. You know, things like that. We don't realize that we're overworked, we're undervalued, underappreciated, but also just it's like expected of us to continue to meet up to a standard that is not. We can't do that. We can't meet this standard, but yet we're in a position where this standard remains expected of us. That is what can lead to burnout, this isolation, depression. The books talks about all of these different things, the way that we feel when we are dealing with a situation that we are actually incapable of handling. That it's like overstepped boundaries. So back to what I was saying about my baby. When I had him, it helped me to learn how to set these boundaries. It helped me because I didn't doubt anymore. A lot of what slowed me down was, am I being mean about it? Did I come across right? Am I wrong for even setting the boundary in the first place? Like, we think all of these different things that keep on equating to us being in a position where we are still dealing with the same situation because we are doubting ourselves for setting a boundary. Sometimes people guilt us, they shame us. A lot of time people act out and punish you for setting a boundary. You tell, your husband, from now on, I can't do this all by myself. I can't do this by myself. I need you to step up more. I need you to help me, do household tasks more. I need you to help maintain the house more. And he might reply, and way of acting out, an example of him acting out to punish you would be not coming home for a while, or coming home and leaving it messy, but then going to sleep. And when you wake him up, say, look, I've been working. I'm not finna do all that. Like, you be here anyway. Or, or taking his anger out about something else. Oh, she want to have a boundary about this. Let me set a boundary about that. So now I'm finna tell her this, and I know she can't stand that. So that'll teach her to not just be broken and deal with it. That'll teach her to set a boundary so that she's not, relieved of that boundary. That'll teach her to not set a boundary because I refuse for her to get some audacity like that to come at me. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is, having my baby, it took away the doubt. It took away, should I say that? Should I do this? You start to open your eyes up a whole lot more. And you start to think about how it's ridiculous that you were even challenged with doubting whether or not you should be setting this boundary to begin with. I had to realize that it doesn't matter their reaction. What matters is the boundary that you set, because that is what is important to your mental health. And so I also think that having a baby boy, it will just teach her true love of like when you have your baby. And I really wanted a girl at first, but having a little boy, because they are really different. Little girls are more emotional. It's more I feel like it's more nurturing to their emotions. And with little boys, they got so much energy, it's just a lot. It's a really different experience. But I feel like God knew what he was doing to bless me with a boy. And, I think that God knows what he's doing to bless her with a boy, because once you have this little boy, you get to love unconditionally. You get to love whether you have a daughter or a son. This little person unconditionally can save your life. But seeing a little boy face and seeing them love you, seeing them, cry and lean to you, it's I don't really know how to put it into words, because it's the most wholesome thing. And it's basically kind of this is what it feels to look at the face of a young boy and to feel complete safe and love. You feel that whether it was a girl or not, or a boy, you know what I'm saying? But something about having this little boy, it just made me feel, for one, it helped me better understand men's and boys' plight in society. Now I'm over here thinking about, what if he, experienced this and that? It really opens your eyes up, and it softened my heart. I'll just speak for myself. It softened my heart to just have to kind of pause and think about how life is for them and the factors that go in. And then another part that played a part was just kind of seeing this little baby boy look at me with all the love in his heart, knowing that I'm going to take care of. At the moment that he cried, he mama, and he's not even at the point where he can barely talk, but just to see him cry and to see that he get that out, it makes me so happy, y'all. I can't even put it into any other words but to say that it makes me so happy to be able to love unconditionally in that way, in a safe way, in a healthy relationship, but to also allow him to be himself, to develop into who he is going to be, but to know that I get to unconditionally be there to water that plant. And something also about creating routines, like whether it's like, oh, let's wake up and pray, now it's time to eat, now it's time to go for a walk. Creating these routines with your baby, especially when you feel like you've been lost, like you've lost yourself, it's direction right back to finding yourself. Like you start to find the parts of you that you didn't feel like there was any use for, or that you didn't use properly, that you thought was like, I got it, or maybe don't got it. But no, you got this talent, you got this skill, you have this insight, this discernment, these, skills that is now all being placed into use, and you get to watch this little person grow. It's like completely a sense of purpose when you was misunderstanding what your purpose is in this world. And though it doesn't end with being a parent, sometimes being a parent can be exactly what wakes you up in the first place to your purpose. And so I end that with saying that let's pray for her and let's wish her and her baby boy the best. I truly hope that for the sake of others and for her, but others as well who are watching, that they can see, first and foremost what it looks like. Now that they're already tuned in, now that she already has their attention, they might feel like they can relate or they understand her in some capacity. Now they get to see her heal and get to see her blossom, and they can't help but be interested along the journey now because they already been watching for this long. So I look forward to the future of the situation. I'm praying for them regardless of what happens next, because they're all just people. I do hope that somebody got something from this video. I hope that somebody got something from that scenario. And I pray that with the future comes positive things so that people can look at that and say, wow, this girl who I used to relate to, who I used to know, has made this 360 trend, or not 360, what the heck, 180 transformation, and turned everything around, because what looks like a lesson and could be was also the biggest blessing ever. And as a side note, I also want to say, if you are in a position like this, do not get pregnant thinking that you're going to have these things that I said, because it's also really beneficial to go ahead and find your own route and use that direction to heal yourself and to grow and to be the best version of yourself. But if you are pregnant, if you did get pregnant, sometimes that might be exactly what you need to wake yourself back up. And so with that, don't judge nobody, because you never know why it happened to them, if it could happen to you, or anything. You just don't know. You don't know people's life. But what I did speak on, I knew personally from experience. And yeah, so go ahead and comment your thoughts down below. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.